Hi everyone, Cooper here with a quick introduction to Wisdom, which is an open science framework for aligning and connecting commons-oriented communities. The problem we're addressing here is known as the tragedy of the commons. My own background to this problem is in the open science space, where, like many others, I feel that the open evaluation of preprints could be a viable path to moving beyond the outdated journal system and towards a truly global knowledge commons. But what we see in this space is that there's many of these projects and they're currently underutilized due to unhealthy incentives in academia. And because there's so many of them, it means that at some level they're competing for limited resources where they could otherwise be cooperating more effectively. And so this got me thinking, what if we could turn the principles of open evaluation onto these projects themselves? If we could develop some kind of an independent measure of the value that each project provides to this common space, it might allow them to let go of individual differences and cooperate more effectively to achieve their common goal. Around 2.5 years ago, I left academia to prototype these ideas, and we formed a community called Open Heart and Mind, and since then we've been hosting a range of diverse, gift-based gatherings based on Burning Man principles, and using each of these as an opportunity to prototype, test and refine the model, and get it to a point where I believe it's now universal and could apply to literally any community in the world. And as a test of that idea, I took some of our data to a recent Open Science and Meta Science conference, which has now prompted a new prototype to review contribution to that conference itself. So the framework is called Wisdom, and the 6 main stages. The first is to record contributions, and here it's really up to the community to decide what they consider in the scope of a contribution, and they should also choose some number of dimensions on which to rate those contributions. We do suggest that every community adopt the common dimension of gratitude, but beyond that, it's up to them to decide what values they want to embed into the code. We complete reviews using pairwise comparisons, and here we give someone 2 contributions and ask them to tell us which is more X, where X is each dimension of interest. And the unique innovation of this model is that we treat these reviews as valuable contributions in their own right and include them in the overall contribution set for review. And because they're relatively standard, we can give them one standard unit of value and use that to peg the relative valuation of all other contributions. We do this through a meta review, and here we give someone a regular contribution and ask them to compare that to some number of reviews. And by including a range of reviews, we can collect a data set that allows us to interpolate a relative value for all contributions given in some number of reviews. And because we can do this across multiple dimensions of interest, this gives rise to a rich information matrix that represents the unique qualities of every contribution to the community, and that information can then be filtered in any way that the user needs. From there, we can calculate the total value that someone has provided to the community and reward them fairly. At OM, we've been exploring a concept token called an OMNOM, which is a representation of the collective gratitude for the community, the contributions to the community. We can also filter the data over time, which gives rise to reputation profiles, showing each person's unique expertise in their contributions. And we can also look at the reliability of reviews to ensure that people are doing this task properly and not acting in overly biased ways or trying to cheat the system. Now, what this gives rise to is a dynamically evolving template that shows all of the contributions to the community, along with the valuations by that same community. And this then provides a direct incentive for people to contribute throughout the life cycle of the project in the ways that they wish to. And in doing so, they can trust that they'll be fairly rewarded for their contributions based on the past data. And if some of those contributions turn out to be money, then that money could also be distributed throughout the community based on the same data. So our idea is that this same framework could be adopted by diverse communities, which can each evolve the framework to suit their own needs, but providing that they maintain the same fundamental mechanics, it would mean that they can each share their outputs and express gratitude to one another for contributions at the collective level. And so the take-homes for Wisdom are that it empowers communities to learn about themselves by self-reflecting their actions, words, thoughts, and feelings. It aligns incentives across all levels of the community, and it connects diverse communities through a common language of digitally encoded values like gratitude. And by embedding those values directly into the code base and then collectively expressing what we find valuable in the information that's provided, I believe that the wisdom framework could provide a powerful training ground for trustworthy AI. And on that note, I'd like to thank all of the amazing humans who have helped make this vision a reality the past 2.5 years, especially Angie and Troy, and invite anyone out there who's interested to please get in touch. Right now, we need money, we need open source developers who can help scale these ideas for the masses, and we'd love to hear from any communities out there who are interested in exploring these ideas with us. Thank you.